Hello, welcome to the Divinely You podcast, as well as Saradivinelyyou on YouTube. Thanks so much for tuning in, sharing, commenting, liking my videos, my podcast. Today, I'm also live concurrently on my Facebook group, Blind Committee Resources. It's in the description box below. Please click on that if you are looking to get involved with this project that's being launched right now in this moment. I got my light doing some funky things. So hopefully, no, I'm going to change it here in a minute, but I'm going to explain why I have it that way, because I'm going to talk about how I got into astrology, metaphysics, and spirituality. And so I thought that it would be perfect if I had my light cycling through all of the chakra colors. Isn't that fun? Okay, I think it's fun. I'm going to change it here in a second, but I first want to say, as I dive into this topic, that especially if you're coming to my channel, if you're coming to my Facebook group and you don't believe in astrology or metaphysics or whatever, that's okay. That's fine. I am not here to say everyone needs to be into this stuff. This is just what I work with, what I feel called to do and study. But I want to share my journey today a little bit so you kind of have an understanding of where I come from. But I feel like every part of my spiritual journey, whether it's been through religion or learning astrology or learning metaphysics, has all been a part of it. Like there wasn't one thing that couldn't have existed to get me where I am now. So let me change the light because I feel like people might, if you guys don't mind the light doing that, that's fine, let me know. But otherwise, I'm going to change it just so that people aren't uncomfortable with it. It runs on an app. There we go. All right, so let's dive in. So how did I get into astrology? Well, I don't know. It just happened. I want to say it just happened. But I grew up I grew up in a Christian environment. I went to church with my mom and my brothers and all of that. And then I hated church when I was a teen and in college. And I thought this was stupid. And I never wanted to go anyway. I always felt stupid in church. I wouldn't say I felt stupid. It was boring to me. It was dumb. It was like people telling me what to do and all this happy crap. And I just didn't align with it, didn't agree with it. So I didn't go to church, post high school. And then dated a guy who was a Christian and his family went to a Baptist church. And I found out I disliked Baptist faith more than any other faith. No judgment, no criticism. That's awesome. That's awesome. I normally check these things and today I didn't. So see if I can. Sorry about that. So dated a guy his family was Baptist, so they went to Baptist church. By then I was starting to lean into the Catholic faith. I had a longtime friend who was Catholic, and so I was totally getting into the Catholic faith. But what I liked about the Catholic faith was, one, you didn't have to memorize Bible scripture, and two, it was much more theological than like biblical, which I kind of liked. I also appreciated the meditative prayers, like the rosary and adoration and things like that. I really aligned with that. So I became Catholic. Ultimately, it took a long time. I think spiritually, I would say I became Catholic in 2010. And I officially joined the church in 2012. I've since left the church. It was just a little stepping stone. I no longer agree or align with the Catholic Church or any church, because now I'm kind of to the point where I can't box in. I can't put into a container how I feel about divine or God or whatever you want to call it. Like, I don't feel like it can be contained how I feel or what I feel like this limitless God is. And I don't have any judgment about anybody's religion or spirituality or whatever. You can believe whatever the heck you want to, as long as you feel connected to a higher power. And know that someone's out there, something, some entity is out there, like supporting you on this journey called life. And I think like that's important to me. So between college and becoming Catholic, I had a close friendship with a college buddy who had an intuitive, which I didn't even know what the hell that meant. I just know that he knew lots of information about planet things, and I was very fascinated by, and the internet was kind of not really a thing. Like, I mean, I use the internet, but like not to the degree that I do now, or any of us do now probably, but and but I remember he would tell me like, well, Mercury was in retrograde. I didn't really know what that meant. I still don't quite know. No, I kind of understand what that means now, but you know, and then we would just talk about the moon, and we would talk about the different zodiac signs and things like that. And I already was starting to see that like the daily horoscopes or the newspaper horoscopes were bullshit. I was just like, somebody's just writing something, because it's like never what I think it is. And so, and then I became Catholic, so astrology was a no-no. But then I started, like, as I was coming out of being Catholic, and really like one of the pivotal things for me about being Catholic was I was in my coaches training program in 2017, and we were learning about ourselves and our self-worth and unconditional love, and that we were worthy of being unconditionally loved no matter what. And as humans, we're going to make mistakes, because that's what humans do, right? We're here to learn, we're here to grow. So here I am in my coaches training program, and we're talking about self-worth and that you're worthy of being loved, and I love you, and all of these things. And I go to church I go to mass that Sunday, and the priest says, you're not worthy of God's love unless you confess to your priest what you've done wrong, or you publicly say this confession thing and say that you've done these things, then you're worthy of God's love. And I'm like, well, that's wrong. And I never have been back to mass since. So that's what happened. That is the story. I haven't been back since. Now, that's not to say if a friend wanted me to go to a mass or church service, I would go to support my friend. But as far as like me going, and I think I tried to like, you know, I didn't go back to a mass after that, but I know I have tried to like participate in any sort of sacraments or whatever since then, and it just doesn't resonate with me anymore. So then I met my personal astrologer. Trisha was in my coaches training program, and she and I still work together on astrology and hypnosis and metaphysical things. And she was in my coaches training program, and I just remember like remembering who she was. I didn't want to work with her. I was a little bit but ultimately hired her to be my coach. So what happened between 2017 and 2019, I was kind of at the top of my health game. I had just moved to California, and I was like, no more winter, no more cold. But I was still having like massive headaches and massive body issues, like physical issues in my body, and mental issues too. And I'm like, what the hell? I don't understand. And I had a couple of coaches that were like, you know, maybe it's the moon. And I'm like, what? And so then as we got closer to 2020 and my time in California was expiring, was coming to an end, and I was getting ready to go back to Illinois, and a lot of things were changing. I knew coming into 2020 that 2020 was going to be disruptive. I cannot tell you when I knew this or how I knew this. I can just tell you that I knew going into 2020 that I needed a coach who was a trained life coach, who was an astrologer, and who knew something about energy healing. I wasn't sure. I didn't know it was called Reiki probably at the time. But I knew I needed somebody who knew these things, because I knew something was about to go awry, and I was going to need to be supported in these ways. I was going to need a coach. I was going to need a container who could be a coach, an astrologer, and a some kind of a metaphysical healer or whatever, practitioner. Again, I didn't know what was Reiki at the time. And so I called Trisha, who I went to my coach's training program with, and I'm like, I need to hire you for 2020. Like, I think I might have signed a 4-month contract, but ultimately I said, I'm keeping you until the end of this year, because it was so obviously we all know 2020 was quite disruptive. And so so towards the end of 2020, I had an opportunity, like I wasn't sure what to do next, but I had an opportunity to enroll in astrology classes. I think there must have been a bundle with the Leo King on High Vibes astrology classes then. And I remember being like, no, like hard no. And a week later, I enrolled in a business coaching program that I did the entire year of 2021. And so, but then during 2021, Leo King comes out with a class called Hypergate. And I'm like, oh shit, that sounds amazing. But I wasn't sure because I didn't know enough. I don't feel like I know enough about astrology to take the class. So I didn't invest. And I also didn't have, like, I was in the middle of this other business coaching program. So I didn't do it. Meanwhile, I'm still watching High Vibe TV. I'm going to link High Vibe below. I'm going to plug them right now because they're freaking awesome. There's a lot of shit, a lot of great content on highvibe.tv. Meanwhile, I'm watching High Vibe. I'm watching like as many, like the divine feminine, spiritual, like intuitives that are getting messages out there. I'm watching Leo King's astrology. I'm watching other astrologers. So I'm picking up stuff. And then I start really like getting into the moon cycles and understanding how the moon is working with my body. And I can tell you right now that when the moon's doing in certain signs, like water signs, for example, I probably feel like shit. I probably feel like shit, especially if it's a watery full or a new moon. Like those are typically moons that I'm in bed and I'm good with it. So anyway, fast forward to December. And Trisha's like, I said, I wanted to take Hypergate, but I was nervous about it. She's like, and I said, I don't have the mental capacity to take all that content in because I knew it was tons of content. She's like, wait until around your birthday, it'll probably go on sale. And I did a week before my birthday. That was awesome. So I bought the classes. So now I'm going to do the astrology classes. So it was a big journey to get to this point. The reason that I did it was because I got to a point where I wasn't physically well, but I was at a capacity for, I mean, of course we can always get healthier, right? We can do green juice. We can do, low carb. We can do as many, we can go vegan. We can go one way, we can go another way. But I was at a point where I was having physical symptoms. And I'm like, I don't know what I did. Like, I didn't do anything unusual. Maybe I didn't, I probably didn't even drink alcohol and I was still having physical symptoms. That's what got me into studying energy and Reiki and the chakras and balancing and all of that and essential oils. Like it all came together when I like stopped, when I got to a point where I'm like, I can't get any healthier. I mean, I can, but who wants to pass up all of the everything, right? And so that's when I started studying energy. So, and then the more I leaned into the chakras and how to balance them, how to cleanse them, how to unblock them, moving through how to, this all leads into emotional intelligence, right? And I started really working with my inner child and really working through my emotions and processing them and allowing myself the space to process inner child emotion. This is all it's all come together probably within the past year and a half. And just really paying attention to the planets. So astrology is not a belief, it's a language. It is the movement of the planets. So it is the movement of the planets. So it's just a language of the planets. It's like when one planet is here and another planet is directly across, they're like conjunct. I hope if an astrologer is watching this, I'm sorry if I'm fucking this up. but love me anyway. Well, planets come conjunct and it like causes this ripple effect. When we have eclipses, those cause like a ripple effect, right? And then that ripple effect lasts until the next, like there's always like a next part where that ripple comes into physical fruition. So it's been a hell of a journey. I have friends who do come back and say, well, you've gone to the dark side. That's unfortunate for you to think or say that I have gone to a dark side, because I don't shame anyone for who or what they study or worship or whatever. I don't shame anybody, but what I hear is you shaming me for what I'm doing, even though I'm loving myself harder and more than ever before. I'm choosing loving relationships more than ever before. So that's how I kind of all got into it. There's obviously multiple layers to my story. You're hearing some of it if you're watching my Friday videos. I'm putting out some excerpts from my upcoming book. And if you donate to my PayPal, if you want to put book donation, that'll go directly towards the publication of my book, which I'll be publishing through Hearts Unleashed House Publishing with Abigail Gazda. So I think that's it. I feel like I want to check the Facebook and see if there's any comments. So I'm going to try and do that while I'm still recording. Seeing lots of likes, no comments. Okay, cool. Well, if you guys have comments or questions, please feel free to post them below. So what I will do is, I kind of want to, I want to say, because of what I've learned about astrology in the past couple of years, I knew, like I said, I knew about astrology, but it just sat in the back of my brain up until probably like 2-3 years ago. But what I want to say is what I said on the Facebook group yesterday, and I'm going to say, I think I've said it on YouTube as well, or on the podcast, YouTube and the podcast as well, is like, we're in a place where it's a prime time moment to create something new, to create things in a new direction. And so we've had this time and space where we've been fighting what feels like this uphill battle. This is all within the blindness community. This resonates with you if you're not in the blindness community. Thank you for staying tuned. But what feels like we have been fighting an uphill battle with a boulder, and the hill is covered in ice. And that's what it feels like the blind community has been fighting and has been trying. We're trying to get audio description. We're trying to get education. We're trying to get employment. We're trying to get accessible appliances. And it feels like we're fighting an uphill battle, carrying a boulder, or boulders are coming down at us, and the hill is covered in ice. And we've got all these nonprofits that are supposed to be helping make change happen, which I think is complete bullshit, because they're sitting on these hours long phone calls talking Robert's Rules of Order, but nobody's actually taking any action. So what I intend on for this group, for the Blind Community Resources group, is to start taking action. And I don't know what that looks like yet. I have some ideas. I've been posting some ideas that I have that I would really like to see us switch from a vocational rehabilitation focus to more of a life focus, so that we can focus on our well-being. We can focus on learning who we are as humans, so that we can focus on accepting and loving each other and stop competing. There's no need to compete. We can also support each other in maybe whatever business ventures. Maybe somebody has an idea, and support each other. Sharing YouTube, sharing podcasts. I just saw a post in another blindness support group today of a guy who lost his vision and started a podcast and is becoming a life coach. All right, dude, let's collaborate, right? Like, let's collaborate. Let's stop competing and stop thinking there can only be one blind life coach, because there's probably about a dozen of us that I know of. That means there's probably more. Let's stop shaming each other for what people don't want to participate in, and start appreciating and loving each other for working together and coming together as individuals for the greater cause of successful blind people or low vision people. Like, I believe this for throughout humanity, that we can all work together to make something amazing happen. But we feel like we have to fight. And what I can tell you from my own personal experience and life experience is shit that I used to think I had to fight for. I used to fight to be happy. I used to fight to have friendships. I used to fight to be healthy. In the last 2 years, it's all become effortless. I'm effortlessly happy. I have relationships that are effortless to maintain. My health is fairly effortless. Okay, I need to get off my ass a little bit more, but I've been so into this project and like doing the project that I'm like, I need to start working out again. Shit. But I'm having so much fun. Like, this is so effortless to me to just sit and do this work, to like research, to join homeschool groups for the how, you know, for blind kids, so that we can reach out to more people. So anyway, if you've listened to this whole time, God bless you. Thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. Please share this video. If you, like I said before, I'm going to start sharing some more astrology stuff in the group. It will not be mostly from High Vibe, mostly because High Vibe is a paid subscription. Although if you'd like to pay for High Vibe, I highly encourage it. If there is a referral, tell them I sent you. I don't know if there is. But I will start sharing some astrology stuff that's here on YouTube that's free. And I'll start putting those videos in the blind community group, because I did have some people message me directly wanting more astrology stuff. So I'll send you the people that I know that do awesome astrology. And I will say, like, I'm a lot nervous about this astrology class because I don't really read the charts very well. And so what happens is that, and this is some area that I would really love for us to explore as a community of blind humans, is one thing I've learned is that I may not be able to see with my human eyes, but I like can see, like, usually by the time I meet with my actual astrologer to have her look at my actual chart of what's going on right now, I'm 90 miles ahead of where my actual chart is, because I've already intuitively and empathically felt into the energy that's coming up for me. Like, I met with her in December and I was like, well, I know something's about to happen because I feel this, that, and the other thing. And so I think that we have gifts as blind humans to see things from a different perspective, but we're so trying to fit into this 3D bullshit that we cannot, like, we can't accept that there's a different way, or that we can like be a part of something different. So anyway, I hope this resonated. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm not making any sense. And then I get a couple of people who are like, just speak your damn truth. So this is me speaking my truth. I feel like there's ways we can go. So, all right. Thank you so much for tuning in on whatever platform, whether it was the podcast, YouTube, Facebook. I love you. I appreciate you. This was part of my journey. Like I said, you can look at my Friday videos. I've been posting excerpts from my fictional narrative. If you want to donate to the publication of that, PayPal me. Even if you can put a note that says specifically for the book publication, that'd be great, because then I can like put it in a separate account to build up the savings to publish that with Hearts Unleashed publication. And Hearts Unleashed house publication with my friend Abigail. She and I chat regularly, but she is well aware that I will focus on this becoming an audiobook. It'll be a print book too, but it will, my main focus will be making sure that it's available in audio format when it is launched. Like, there won't be a delay. So anyway, okay, thanks for tuning in. Talk to you later. Sending you a ton of love from Arizona. Bye. Stop recording now, and it's not.